the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
Now look, Doc, we're buddies, okay? But don't try to convert me.
I'm trying to prepare you. My name's Marquay, Dr. Marquay, a scientist interested in the supernatural. The unnatural, if you like. I came to Hill House to find the key to another world. Assisting me in this exploration of the unknown was Eleanor, Nell, who could look back into the past, and Theo, something of a witch, who could see into the future. This is Luke, who didn't believe in anything, until evil, patient and waiting, made him change his mind.
Stop it! God. God. Whose hand was I holding?
How many of us take seriously the things we cannot or do not want to understand, simply because we are afraid?
Eleanor, your fault! Did you hear me calling?
This house. You have to watch it every minute.
The Haunting was produced and directed by Robert Wise, brilliant producer of West Side Story. The stars consist of a cross-section of top talent in the world of entertainment. Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, Russ Tamblyn.
What does it take to convince you that the dead do not always rest in peace? That some houses, like Hill House, are born bad?
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 6 of 31 Days of Monsters. I am your horrible host, Graham Nolan, and today we're going to be talking about The Haunting, which is based on the Shirley Jackson book, The Haunting of Hill House, a very well-known novel. They couldn't use the title for some reason. I don't know if Hill House was the name of a real place, but for some reason they couldn't use the title of the book. So Robert Wise went to Jackson and said, do you have any other titles for this? And she said, the only other title that I considered for this novel was The Haunting. And so that's what we get. We get The Haunting from 1963. I thought this would be a good follow-up to The Shining because they're both about these haunted a hotel in one and a house in another that takes possession of a person. And they're slightly different, but you can see where Stephen King certainly got his ideas from Shirley Jackson from this one. I thought I had seen this movie, and Julie and I watched it last night just to refresh myself. And I realized that there's a whole section in the middle that I have not seen. So I had seen just, I'd seen the ending, I'd seen the beginning and stuff. And I'll be honest, it always bored me. Last night I enjoyed it though, when I powered through it. But I'll tell you, I even tried reading the book. I got about halfway through the book and I got bored with that too. I think because as a monster kid, I want a monster. I want a ghost. I want to see it. And this movie shows you nothing. It does it very effectively. I mean, there are some real genuine chills in this movie, the kind where you could get your hair up. But I really wish we saw some of the supernatural, even just a little bit, like in The Uninvited, one of the great ghost stories from the golden age, from the 1940s with Ray Milland. We do get to see like an ethereal ghost in that film, and I really like that. Robert Wise, of course, a wonderful director. He started as an editor for Orson Welles, and then he worked with Val Lewton on The Body Snatchers, and he learned a lot from Lewton. And as you know, I'm not a big fan of Luton because he does not show the monster. He wants to do these what he thinks are creative. It's almost like the guy doesn't really want to do a horror movie, but he knows that the producers want him to do it, or the studios, because they sell. So he tries to make it a little bit more highfalutin than it needs to be. And at least that's my opinion when I watch his films. Like, people love the Cat People, but that movie just doesn't do it for me. I mean, I'd rather watch The Wolfman and see a real, like, werewolf or werecat or whatever it is. But again, that could be just me. A lot of critics like that kind of stuff. Wise, of course, went on to, just do some amazing films, including A West Side Story, The Sound of Music, this movie, The Haunting, and of course, Star Trek, the motion picture from 1979. And I'm sure there are many other ones in there that I'm not thinking of at the moment. One of the other problems with this film for me is the characters, and as you guys know, I'm all about character driven. I can watch a movie with very little plot if the characters are intriguing and interesting to me and make me care about what they have to say. I felt some of the characters in here were like this. They're up and down. And one in particular is Theodora, the Claire Bloom character, who is overtly lesbian in the book. But they couldn't really do that. They couldn't really state that overtly in the movie because of the time it was made. And as a result, she comes across as sort of bitchy and petulant. And I never really know, does she have Nell's best interest in mind, or what's the story with her? I think the only one that's truly consistent is Dr. Markway, the Richard Johnson character. I guess it's true about, I guess it's the two male characters are pretty consistent. The Russ Tamlin character too. Julie Harris's character, we can give her a little bit of a slide because she's really messed up. And she runs hot and cold. She always thinks the world is after her, because she's been beaten down for so long. So we can give that one a pass, but the Claire Bloom character really bothered me because I couldn't tell if she really cared about Nell or not, because some of the mean and petulant things that she would do. So, we talked about in Zombies, the copyright laws are different in Italy, and the same is true when making a movie with tax laws. Now, this film takes place in Boston, but it was filmed in England. Robert Wise was offered a budget of $1 million to make the movie, but he knew he needed more. So they ended up filming it in England, where, because of the tax breaks, he was able to get a $1.5 million budget. The reason you have Claire Bloom and Richard Johnson in it is because of English law. You have to have you can't have more than let's see, what is it? I think it's more than two non British citizens in the film, in a film. So I think even the brother and the brother-in-law and the sister are all British actors, with the only Americans being Russ Tamblyn and Julie Harris. The rest are all British. And there's one bit that you can tell that they did film it in England, and that was where Julie Harris's character is driving to the Hill House to meet with everybody. And she's dreaming of having her own place. She's just finally broken free of her sister, and she's dreaming of her own place. And she goes by this house for rent, and it says to inquire, and there's a phone number. But they spelled inquire E-N instead of I-N, and that's the British spelling. So somebody missed that, and that jumped out at me. I'm like, inquire, So I caught them. But all in all, it really is a finely done film with genuine chills. The black and white photography is amazing. They used a lot of shots inside the house with sort of a not quite a fisheye lens, but if you notice, there's nothing straight. A lot of the instances you'll see the walls look bowed, because they use that convex lens, and so it gave the house just a completely different look. If you look at the picture, there's a picture on the internet of a shot from the exterior of the house in the movie, the black and white and the high contrast clouds and everything, and it looks spooky as hell. Then you look at a full color shot of the thing today, and it's like, gee, I'd love to stay at that place. It's beautiful. It's amazing what black and white and lighting and effects can do to make this house look scary. When it looks so inviting and nice when it's in color and you're just looking at it normally. So that's it, guys. For this one, let's check in with everybody and see what you guys thought of this movie. Dan Genovese is here. He's the first one in the chat. Normie Nerd, Dr. Mask is here. Rob Younce. Looks like we got our usual cast of characters. Chris Juliano. Dr. Mask watched the 1999 remake of this too yesterday. He thought it was well done. I haven't seen it. That's the one with Liam Neeson, right? Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Fearless Freep is here. Rob Younce says, I have to confess I've never watched The Haunting until last night. I have to say I enjoyed it very much. Eleanor's descent into madness was much more believable than Nicholson's in The Shining. Yeah. You never thought that Eleanor was capable of much. Whereas like you just knew Nicholson was very capable of killing his family. Rob Fellows with a Russ Tamblyn quote here. What would you call this place? Funorama? And Rob responds with, I would call it the Monster Cruise House of Scares. I like that. Man of War saw the first hour. He's finishing the last 7 minutes. Jake Blues is here. He missed yesterday's. So you've got some homework to make up, Jake. Yeah, I referenced Russ Tamblyn and War of the Gargantuas when we were doing Monster Zero because, my God, did he walk through that movie? He shows absolutely no interest in being there. It's pretty funny. When they dubbed him, when they used the English language dub, they dubbed him too, and the dude who's doing the voiceover is much more enthusiastic about things in his intonations and stuff versus Tamblyn. Shipbird Militia is here. JP Roca is here. Stippling Vaughn kicking off Friday night. Yeah, that's right. It is Friday. Let's see. My homie and personal rival, LE Comicsgate. That's a long handle, but there it is. Rob Fellows loves the black and white cinematography on this. I'm powering through M. Night Shyamalan's Cabin in the Woods. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's got woke elements, which is inadvertently funny. You sure you got that title right? Cabin in the Woods was Josh, what's his name? The guy who did the Avengers and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sure, somebody in the chat will Josh Whedon. Josh Whedon. I called it up myself. Oh, I guess they made the lesbian aspect much more forward in the recent miniseries. Okay. Oh, where is that? I just saw somebody said, here we go. JP Roca says, because of his interview with the owner, I thought Dr. Markway was going to have more researchers than the two women. When he's there in front of the chalkboard and he's got all those names up there and he's putting checks next to who's gonna come and be a researcher. All the names that didn't have checks next to it were family and friends of the screenwriter. I love that stuff. Pete 2E managed to catch the live stream today. Excellent. And Brian G just read the book and he enjoyed that one too. There we go. It's Knock at the Cabin. Okay. Oh, I know the one you're talking about now. How is that? I haven't seen it. Is it any good? The scene where Eleanor was driving and stops to look at a map. She said she was in Boston, but those street signs sure felt like England for sure. They were New England. Snowman is here. He says, good morning, Graham and everyone. Okay. All righty. Now I forgot to look at my list for tomorrow. Where is it? Movie list. Here we go. So tomorrow we have Duel, the Steven Spielberg movie, starring Dennis Weaver from 1971, TV movie. Can have a lot to say about that one. It's currently streaming on, I think it's Criterion, but you might be able to catch it elsewhere as well. So that's what's up for tomorrow, my friends. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, and looking forward to seeing everybody when we talk about Duel. So stay safe on that road, on the roads, and watch out for those big trucks. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow morning, guys. Bye-bye.